And welcome back to the Buzz and the Keys at Conch 1500 AM.
We're having a great chat with James today.
That's right. You know, and after hearing James' song, Address in Key West, I'm listening to our intro music. We've got to ditch it. It's just too NPR, you know.
Don't you think it's kind of blah?
Yeah. You need to put my Ain't My Baby Grand song on there.
That sounds
piano
nice.
Tickling the ivories and the keys. That's what you need.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you've got your concert coming up here.
Saturday,
what are some of the other venues you're going to be playing?
I'm playing on Friday on the Fury, the boat. I always do one of these sunset cruises, which I like a lot.
Charlie Bauer?
Charlie Bauer, yeah, good guy. We really, he's a great guy. He's really been part of this festival since the beginning.
Right.
And this is the 15th year for this festival.
He's done a fantastic job. He really has.
Yeah, man, he tirelessly, makes it happen. And
how many songwriters are coming down?
Well, I was going to say, you know what it's like to get 100 to 150 songwriters down here with publishers and producers and all the people that come along with them.
Well, it's become quite the thing, too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
With everybody in Nashville.
I can tell you I was in Nashville yesterday, and half the people I stopped me, and either they're coming down, either part of the festival, or they're just coming down to be a part of it because they've heard so much about it. I mean, now, it's grown since 12 writers. It started with 12 writers 15 years ago.
And in Nashville, it's true that everybody wants to be part of that music scene.
Right?
Your waitress or, pumping gasoline or whatever, huh?
Look, everybody from America, around America, that wants to, especially because country's become really, really popular now. It's kind of pop country now. You got everything now. But you got to remember, in Nashville now, you have the Kings of Leon, hard rock band. You have Paramore, alternative band. You have Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin has been recording there with Alison Krauss.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah, these are all people I know and have met there. Bon Jovi did his last record before he was there. So it's country. You've got, Merle Haggard, but you've also got, a lot of pop stuff. So you've got everybody comes there to do something, It's an amazing, amazing place.
So do you all get together when you're here and...
We do.
Write songs?
We write songs. You get inspired. I think more than right here, you kind of draw inspiration here from the characters. I mean, for me...
And write later.
Actually, Key West Address was the same thing. And, there's the legacy, of course, of Jimmy Buffett, Tennessee Williams, Hemingway. Those ghosts are all around, and you take that, kind of enjoy that, and then go back home with it, and then kind of think about it.
Well, I'm sure it has to you kind of have to, assimilate it all.
You do.
And let it kind of...
And it might not come out, immediately, but maybe in a month or two, it's that kind of thing. I just love tropics.
Do you take a lot of pictures while you're here, or not?
I do. I have a camera. I actually took a lot of pictures for the Key West Address song. I took a lot of pictures for kind of like a little documentary for me and stuff. It's
very nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
And you went to Switzerland, where you were
long way away.
A long way away, and you wrote "Don't Break My Heart," which became one of your top 10 singles. Huh?
There's a band in Europe called Vaya con Dios. They're not together now. They broke up a couple of years ago, but they were a huge group. And when I was living in Switzerland, I was living in Zurich, Switzerland, and traveling all over. I always wanted to live there and see what Berlin was like, and Greece and Italy. So I was doing all that, playing music, touring, and then I got with this band Vaya con Dios, and we played in Africa, all over Europe, and they were a super group, and that was one of their big hits. I wrote for them.
Do you think that traveling to all those countries, all throughout Europe and Africa, and of course growing up in Panama, does that influence the sound?
Absolutely,
that you come up with, or do you
I think that's why if you listen to the Key West Address album, all the songs don't sound exactly alike, But my favorite artists are like the old Billy Joel and everything, where he'll have a song like Piano Man, but then he'll have a song like We Didn't Start the Fire,
Right.
I don't think all the records should all sound exactly the same,
Right.
It's good. It's like food. If you ask me about my food, I can tell you 10 places here in town I like to eat. They're all different,
right?
But they're all equally great, I just like different colors in my music, and it's definitely from traveling. Where you live and where you grow up, it completely influences your art, whether it's painting or writing or...
When did you write your first song?
When I was probably 15. Yeah, really young. Probably it's sitting at the piano trying to practice classical music and then just going, oh man, I'm trying to play something else,
Very nice.
Yeah, I just have always enjoyed playing the piano and writing music.
So does everyone in Nashville who's there just kind of have natural talent and they kind of teach themselves to write songs? Do they have songwriting workshops or do they find somebody who becomes a mentor for them?
Yeah.
Or,
look, some people come there having played music since they were kids and with a dream. I want to be the next Carrie Underwood. And they come and they realize that they need to do the workshops. They start writing with people. They start attending publisher meetings. They get with BMI, my company that helps place songwriters in classes and working with other people. So there's a million ways to do it, and just coming there and getting a job, whatever you have to do and being around Nashville, because the songs are in the air, And it's funny, you can come there, and if you look at the songs you're writing when you first get there as compared to the songs you're writing 5 years later, I mean, you have to learn a lot there. It makes you raise your game.
Are there any rules to songwriting? Are there any like basic, you know, if you go into songwriting 101, what are like some of the basic things that you need to do to make a
winning and losing songs?
Man, it's just, you know, it's just I think, putting the truth down on tape, the truth. You know what I'm saying? There's not really any rules. It's just making sure for instance, you go to the Bluebird. If you've never been
there.
You go to the Bluebird. And if, as a writer, you walk in there for your first time and you listen to those songwriters, 4 songwriters who've had hits, and they play acoustically. There's no production, no anything. It's the guitar or the piano and the song and the lyrics. So you're forced to raise your game. You know what I mean? You're forced to go, wow, now I see what it takes to write a great song, And it just kind of makes you appreciate it. If you do that enough, it's like a school, and all the rules are there. You learn how to fashion a lyric, how to make a melody, something memorable.
Are you? I'm sorry, Ron. Are you supposed to have a certain amount of lyrics and a certain amount of melody? Is there formulas, or are you just kind of?
No, but you do kind of go, look, it should pretty much be 3.5 minutes, because if you give them an 11-minute song, I'm sorry, it's not Spinal Tap. You can't.
Right.
It's you learn that. You learn like you need some kind of a memorable chorus or a hook. And you also want to try to come up with an idea that's a little different. For instance, I had that song, The High Cost of Living, Ain't Nothing Like the Cost of Living High.
Right.
Well, I thought, wow, that's some powerful thing. But I couldn't write that one myself. In My Daughter's Eyes, I wrote myself. In Nashville, I wrote that one with Jamie Johnson, who's kind of lived a crazy kind of life, and he and I co-wrote that. There's a lot of co-writing.
How did you get your big break?
In Nashville?
Yeah, Nashville.
You know what? I walked into Nashville in 2002, and I had written that song In My Daughter's Eyes. And with 2 weeks, it does not happen like this. But I also wasn't 19 years old. I'd been around and had a lot of success before that. But I walked in and had In My Daughter's Eyes, and that got played for Martina, and she immediately recorded it.
She's great.
Yeah. And I also wrote a song called That's Why God Made Mexico. And I'd written that myself, too. My dad, is a great little story. My dad had given me a joke book. He's a psychiatrist. And when I moved to Nashville, he gave me a joke book. And one of the jokes was, God made man and God made woman. And when God realized man and woman don't get along, God made Mexico.
That's cool.
So I'm giving you a little tip on how to do it. And I went, oh my gosh. So I went down and sat at the piano. I had probably been in Nashville for about 2 weeks. I remember I was snowed in. It was after Christmas. And I was like, man, it's freezing up here. I thought it was the south and it was warm, but it wasn't that warm. And I wrote this song, That's Why God Made Mexico, a place where we can lay low, where the Cuervo goes down nice and slow. That's why God made Mexico.
That's great.
And
great.
A year later, I got it on Tim McGraw's album, 4 million copies sold.
Wow.
So, it's from that joke book to sitting the discipline of doing it to learning how to write a song, and then the magic has got to happen, and you get lucky sometimes.
And so these people know how great you are, so just kind of go from one person to the other.
Well,
right?
you do that, but you're constantly working on it.
Yeah.
You're constantly working on it. And all these songs you'll hear, I do all these songs on Saturday at the San Carlos,
Cool.
But I'll be doing partly on a grand piano, and then I also have an incredible sax player coming down from Nashville, an incredible percussionist.
And an incredible mom.
An incredible mother, father, and a couple incredible guest artists, too. I will have Cheryl Cates, the mayor's wife. I also have Tom Douglas from Nashville, who's got a song on the radio right now called The House That Built Me, Miranda Lambert, one of the better songs you'll ever hear. And I've got an artist from a band called Basilos, a South American, very famous band. He's coming up to perform with me, too. I'm telling you, for $10, you're getting a show Saturday.
All right.
I don't want to see you.
How do they get tickets?
You go to what is it?
All right, we're running out of time.
Keys Ticks, or come to the door Saturday, 2 o'clock.
All right,
Check it out.
Carlos.
Come on, girls.
Thank you, James.
I'll bring you up on stage,
we'll look forward to seeing you.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Thank you, James.
That's awesome.